Hello, Candy. Hello, Beverly. Thanks, Ben. Benji is my great helper. He always brings me my tablet so I can kind of see where everything's positioned, make sure that I've got everything where you can see it. And Darren, as always, thank you very much for moderating. Hi, Donna. Hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm gonna change views here pretty quick so we can get started and jump right into our project. So, first off, let me just go over very quickly the inspiration box for April. Have you guys been seeing the beautiful projects that are coming up on the Brutus Monroe social media? This box is really, really fun. I have had a lot of fun creating with it. So my box doesn't have the label on it because I got mine a little bit earlier, because I actually created some cards that you can, if you subscribe to the inspiration box, once you get your inspiration box, there is some instructions in there on how to make 5 cards using the items in your box. And so that is why my box doesn't have a label, is because I got that first. Who did?
Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Teresa says hi.
Teresa?
Yes.
Hi, Teresa.
Anne-Marie says hi.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Margaret says hi.
Hi, Margaret. I'm excited to have so many of you on here today. Okay, so I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to show you the stamps and the dies first. So this is the stamp set. This is called Bountiful Blooms, and it has 33 pieces. Look at all of these darling stamps. I have touched and played with every single one, I think, so far. And I just keep using them and keep finding new ways to use them. I love them. Isn't that such a cute set?
Michelle says hi.
Hi, Michelle. And then there are almost as many dies. There are 30 dies. Basically, there are dies for everything but the sentiments on this one. So lots of fun there. We will be using those today. And then very quickly, I'm just going to go through what else comes in this box. Now, keep in mind, I've used mine because I've had to, I made the samples for the box. So my grass glaze is looking like it's been used a little bit. But this is really fun. You can see it has kind of a texture to it. It's got little bits in it to make it look more like grass. And we're actually going to use some of this today. So I've used it at least 3 times, possibly more. And there's still tons in there. And I used a lot. So I was quite generous with the way I put it on. Okay, and then we've got our ribbon. You know how I love Brutus Monroe ribbon. And we've got our conversation clippings. There are 4 sheets, 2 of white and 2 of black. They all have the same, they both have the same sentiments on them, but there are several different sentiments on each card. And then we've got our card panels. And there are 4 different patterns.
Luisana says hi.
Hi, Luisana. You've got this really pretty one, this one, this one, and this one. And these are printed with toner ink. Both of these are. So you can use them with heat foiling. And then we'll quickly move through. We've got, so I had to move my sequins out of the package they were in because I've used them several times, but you get 5 ounces of sequins. And then you've got a paper pad. It's called Bountiful Blooms. It's got 6 different patterns. See if I can get one of each. Yep. You can see all the different colors. Really, really pretty. I think this one's my favorite, but I like this one a lot too. They're all pretty.
Miss Dan said, did you say 5 ounces?
Yes, I did. And then the paper that comes with it, you get 5 card bases. And this sold me on buying pre-scored and pre-cut card bases because they are just so convenient and they are just nice. They are made out of 100-pound cardstock, and it's just such a nice little treat to have them already scored for you. I guess I'm a little spoiled, but I love it. And then you've got your selection of paper, which I will quickly go through. You've got your layering weight cardstock. And you've got 5 different sheets. These are the colors. And I don't have the instruction brochure, but there is an instruction brochure included that has the 5 cards that that I made using just using mostly just the stuff that's in the inspiration box, with the exception of a few items. And then always you get a beautiful piece of glitter stock. Love it. All right, so now you know what's in the box. And
This is a box of goodies.
What was that?
Luisana asked about what box you showing.
It is the April Inspiration box, Luisana. So now you've seen the inspiration box. I'm going to show you a couple of the other subscription items. The die of the month this month is the Fancy Foliage die. Really cute. I just got mine today, so I haven't played with it yet, but likely this will be what I use for next week's live.
Anne-Marie asked, can you do the box subscription month to month?
Yes, you can. You can do the box subscription month to month. And this is the Vintage Tile Stencil.
Luisana said it looks like a very generous package.
Yes, it is. Now, these ones that I'm showing now are not included in the box. This is the die of the month and the stencil of the month, just to be clear. And then this is the stamp of the month, and it's called Love Grows Here. And it looks like this cute, tiny little set, but this thing packs a punch. I have made some really fun cards using this set. And this also, if you do Stamp Club Plus, there is a coordinating die. So, we've covered all of that. The only thing left to show you is, oh, I guess it's not the only thing, but this is the add-on stencil. Now, I'm going to show you, this is my pretty stick and stamp mat. And I use this one mostly for ink blending and maybe aqua pigment, stuff like that. And then I have, who did?
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. And then I have my Not As Pretty mat that I like to use my glitter glazes and any kind of glazy kind of things on my mat that's not as pretty. Now, this is the mat I made all the mistakes on and kind of trashed it a bit because I didn't know exactly how to care for my mat. But now that I do, I have this other one, but I do like to keep it kind of pretty. That's just kind of a weird thing about me. But if you want to know more about caring for your stick and stamp mat, there is a video on the Brutus Monroe YouTube channel. Now, this is the Stencil Stained Glass Garden, and this is an add-on. This is just something you can purchase newly released for April. And the fun thing about this is that there is also, let me get something white so you can see it. Oh, I'll just get my other mat. This works with the stencil. So if you're wanting to have a more framed look on your stencil, you can use this SVG. So this is an SVG you can download on the Brutus Monroe site. Okay? And all of these things that I've shown you will be listed. Darren, you probably didn't add the stamp of the month and the stencil of the month and the dies of the month. Darren will add those very quickly, but he will put up a link. It'll have every single thing that we talk about in it so that you don't have to go looking for everything. It'll just be at your fingertips.
Luisana said the inspiration box has your name on it. Did you design it?
The inspiration box, I designed the cards made with the inspiration box. It was very fun. I enjoyed it immensely. Okay, so to save a little bit of time, I went ahead and I stamped some of our images ahead of time. So I used the Bountiful Blooms stamp set. I used this stamp. What else did I use? Gotta look at it. And that's it from that stamp set. And then I actually wanted to add just a little bit more to it. So I incorporated the Kind Blossoms stamp set. We're going to use a couple of the tulips and this grass. If you guys were watching last week, I had a mishap with my, I colored this and I cut it out and I could not find it at all. And I did not find it until today. It was on my die cut machine. It was there all along. I didn't think to look there because I'm kind of silly like that. So now we'll just use it today. Just made my job that much easier, right? So let's start out actually with our stencil, because I want to show you how to use that grass glaze because it's really fun. So we're going to start out, we're going to do a little ink blending first. And I've just got it on my mat. This is a 5 3/4 piece of Not Your Mama's cardstock. This is a heavyweight cardstock. I don't remember the exact weight. If you asked me any other day, I'd probably be fine. But since I'm live, information has gone right out the window. But this cardstock, just to give you an idea, let me find a piece of Perfect Blend, which I love. Perfect Blend is great for alcohol ink. It's beautiful and it works wonderfully. And
130 pounds.
130 pound. Okay, that sounds right. I knew it had to be more than 100 because it's really nice and thick. So then you've got your Not Your Mama's that's just 130 pound. I don't know what the Perfect Blend paper is, but it's wonderful, like I said, for using your alcohol markers and your pencils and anything you want to blend like that, your ink blends. But when you're using any kind of a medium, Not Your Mama's is kind of a nice way to go. And it's great for when you're using glazes and such. So let's pop out our inks. Hi, Donna. Let's start out. I like to start with my lightest color first. So we're going to start out with our Shooting Star. This is Simon Hurley ink. All of the inks I'm using, except the Raven that I use to stamp all of these, which is a Brutus Monroe ink. Everything else will be Simon Hurley. So Shooting Star, let's just kind of color our sun up a little bit.
Anne-Marie said, wow, that's heavy cardstock.
Right, Anne-Marie? It's wonderful. Like I said, it's great for when you're using media paste or chroma glaze or any of the candy glazes. It's just nice and sturdy. It sells out really quick when we get it in because it is so popular.
Kara says hi.
Hi, Kara. Thanks for joining us today. So I'm just brushing on my, nothing too special about the way I'm doing it. Just going for that sun. And it's okay if you bleed over into the other part. The sun hits lots of places, right? So we're not going to be too sticklery or too serious about how we blend. And then let's use some of our, I'm going to use orange. This is Roar, the ink pad is. I have no idea what's actually on my brush, but I'm going to use what's on my brush first before I worry about, see, it's got enough ink in it. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll check it out, see if it has enough ink in it from whatever I used last time. And sometimes it's enough that I don't need to ink it up. So it probably was Roar as well. And then let's use some of our Simon Hurley Clear Skies, my favorite Simon Hurley ink color. And I am just going to casually try to avoid the clouds, but I'm not going to freak out if I get a little bit onto the white part of the cloud. Like I said, this is just a really simple, loose and easy way to do this. We're feeling footloose and fancy free today. And I usually like to ink a little darker around the edges. I just like the way that looks. If you are more accurate than me, you can think about where the light would actually be hitting.
All the links are in the collection I'm posting.
All the links are in the collection that Darren is posting right now. And I like this color so much I could just keep going forever because I just think it's beautiful. All right, we've just about got that one. Like I said, I love this color, so I want to make sure we get enough of it on there. And then I will go over it one more time. I like to just go over the blue a little bit, kind of brighten it up a little bit so it's not all brownish, which it may still be a little bit, but that's okay. We'll use a little bit of our yellow too to brighten it up a little bit. That helped a little. Okay, so now let's use some later Gator. And we will just go over the grass. Now we're going to go over the grass with the ink, but we're also going to go over it with the grass glaze. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm not worrying too much if it's kind of splotchy, because it's going to just be covered up in a minute with the grass glaze. One reason why I did that is because I kind of like the way that this later Gator color, it kind of brightens up the grass glaze color. I don't know where that word came from. Class, whatever. Sorry, I'm live, so I can't speak, of course. So when you use the grass glaze, it can take on kind of a blue tinge. And I used this so it would go just a little bit more yellow. Okay, so I'm going to take about this much and I'm going to slide it across. But then really, I'm not going to keep sliding it, because what I found with the grass glaze, I don't want to move my ink around too much. I want to kind of just, I'm kind of pressing my grass glaze as I move so that I get that texture on there that I want. And I do kind of go over this on the video for the cards as well. The video that corresponds with the brochure and the inspiration box. Just because I think it's just a little easier if you tap it on than if you just like scrape it on. And especially, like I said, where we're using that ink underneath, we don't want to move our ink too much. See if we can, we're going to have to move it a little bit, of course. But now, depending on how thick of a layer, and I've got a fairly thick one on here, that will depend on how quickly, of course, that your grass glaze is going to dry. Now, I typically will leave mine for a couple of hours, and then...
Can you ink over the glaze if it looks too blue?
You know, I haven't tried inking on top of the glaze. The only thing I can imagine that would be a risk on that is that you might flake off the grass a little bit. But I say give it a try. I always like to give things a try. Try an experiment. Just try it on a little dab so that you don't, ruin a whole bunch of paper or anything. But just grab a scrap, try it out, and that's the best way to find out. I love experimenting in my craft lab. And some of those experiments are wonderful and fun, and sometimes I just toss them in the bin and say, okay, well, that was interesting. And start again. Okay, so now we don't want to leave this on our mat. We want to, or on our paper for that matter, because it will be a mess and it will dry to it and it will just make life hard. So let's just peel it off right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and take mine over to I have a little bucket of water I'm going to put mine in. I'm going to set that aside. And of course, I didn't expect that this would dry during the live. So I did come prepared with one that is dry.
Donna says pretty.
So this is the dry one. Isn't that fun, Donna? It's just a fun and easy technique. All right, so we'll set this guy to the side.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't this fun? It's just such an easy way to make just a pretty little background. So now we can work with these guys. Now I colored some of the leaves ahead of time, and I went ahead and all I did with my grass is I just used my blending brush and ink blended those, and then we'll just die cut those in a minute. But I'm going to use some Triblend markers to just quickly go through the flowers. I've got, for the green, I used dull green blend. And so let me just, I really don't need it in this. We can just take it out of this. One less thing to worry about.
Theresa says hi.
Hi, Theresa. Thanks for joining. Okay, so now we've got a little extra room, which is always helpful. And if you ever craft with me, you don't want to sit by me. I'll be honest with you. I tend to spread out. I'm always amazed at how much space I end up taking up when I'm crafting. I'll try not to take your eye out if you do end up sitting by me. Truthfully though, when I craft with other people, I'm terrible about getting anything accomplished because I would rather visit.
Candy says she takes so much room.
Candy, that's awesome. Crafting takes up space. Creativity takes up space, right? So I'm just going through and I'm using the lightest color on my Triblend marker.
All the colors are in the link.
All the colors are in the link. Thank you, Darren. We'll just go through and do all the leaves first. And I'm doing the quick live coloring. I'm much slower when I am just coloring on my own. So then I'm just going to go through and use my darkest color to just kind of give it a little bit of depth. So I'm mostly just going through and just putting a little dot at the base of the leaves. If they're really tiny like this one, I'm not even going to bother with that one because it's such a little leaf. This one's kind of got that line going up, so I'll go up a little further. Okay, so then I'm going to take my medium color, which is kind of a funny thing about these pens. They open right in the middle. And kind of blend the end of where I colored the dark part. Okay, how's that? So that was pretty fast, right? So now I'm just gonna take, let's do our wheelbarrow next because that's the next kind of big thing. So this is ice gray and I'm gonna do the very same thing. I'm just gonna take my lightest color first, kind of whip my way through it. I usually do kind of a circular motion. Okay, so this is the darkest color. We're just gonna kind of go in, kind of go across the top a little bit, the sides a little bit, maybe the bottom. I'm sure it's not completely accurate. Louisana is an expert, so hopefully she's not judging me too harshly. She's given me lots of amazing tips. She is amazing that way. Very generous with her crafting knowledge. And then we're going to take that lightest color again. We're just going to blend out what we did in addition. And it's okay to not get the whole thing. You can leave a little spot where it just stays lighter. Okay, so we've got that done. And I always, I've colored the same stamp a couple times over, and I always think this is a leaf when I do it. So let's color the handle. Since it's not a leaf, we'll use the darkest gray. Oh, my dog's playing with his dog toy. He's kind of got that.
Don't cut yourself short, you're amazing.
Oh, you are so sweet, Louisana. Thank you. I'm going to use bright pink blend. And we'll start with the lightest color. Let's do at least one of our tulips in this bright pink. It's just a bright, fun color. And now we'll take that darker color, kind of go in the inside where it'd be the darkest. Maybe along the bottom a little bit. Did I do the darkest? Nope, I did the medium color. So I'm gonna come up a little higher because I usually would do the darker one. I don't know why I thought I had the darkest one. The darkest one is right here. So we'll put a little bit of that in there. Did it a little backwards, but I think it'll be fine. All right, so let's add some of that bright pink to some of these. Let's do this one pink. Okay, so let's do this little flower pink too. And again, that one's pretty small. I'm not going to worry too much about doing any kind of a blend on that one. And we'll see if that works for us. We may want to add more in a minute, but let's do that for now. Let's add, this is Hydrangea blend. I don't even know what color that is. Well, let's check it out. It's kind of a grayish purple. Not quite periwinkle, more of a lavender. Seeing periwinkle and wisteria everywhere. Have you guys seen the new embossing powder from the collaboration with Brutus Monroe and Gina K? It is a beautiful shade of purple. So that collaboration stamp set sold out in like a couple of hours. But I heard that it might make a comeback. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. And let's just use a little bit of light right there. On these little tiny guys, I'm not as much of a stickler. I just kind of go for it. And there's really not a lot there to work with. So, and we should do one of our tulips that color, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, let's do. Okay. Okay, so now let's do, this is Pink Violet Blend. Okay, this is kind of similar to that one. I think that's okay though. Let's do these flowers, at least one of them. See what the darker color of it looks like. Yeah, it's kind of similar. So I think we'll add this yellow. This is Citrus Blend. So let's do these little guys yellow. And this last two flowers. Do I have the lightest shade? Nope, I have the darkest shade. So we'll go with our lightest one first. All right, and then we'll do this last little flower and we'll have all of our flowers. Okay, I think we got all of those. So now we can start kind of getting our dies lined up. Grab my repositionable tape. All right, so this stamp set has two dies. One going one way and one kind of going the other, and I always grab the wrong one. All right, I just need to grab my Bountiful Blooms dies. So let's get this guy. Who said that? What?
I'm sorry I'm late. I see lots of pretty.
Oh, who said that?
Gina.
Hi, Gina. We are happy to have you whenever you can get here. You mean to tell me everybody has a life outside of crafting? What? Okay, so now we'll get our cute little wheelbarrow. And I like to line it up. I'm going to move this up so you can see. I like to line it up where the triangle is, because I think that's the tightest little tricky spot. So I feel like if I can get that lined up, then the rest will be pretty good. Oops. Scooch it over just a little. I think we have it. And these ones we'll just have to do a repeat on. And I didn't get the grass out. We need the grass. Heaven knows I struggle with that grass, right? Hopefully I don't lose it this time. Okay. Oh, that didn't stay on there very good. I didn't tape it as well as I thought. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. So I should have taped that tulip, it looks like. It shifted a little bit, but I think it's still fine. We'll use it anyway. My plates. I haven't even had these that long, but I use my die cutter all the time. It looks like I could use some new plates. All right, I still have to cut out my other grass. And I haven't put on our little SVG either, so we'll want to add that too. I'm just kind of messing with things. You can't really see anyway. I didn't really have you in the view there. And then we'll move our grass over to the other thing of grass in case we want it. I don't know that we're going to need it though. I'm kind of liking the two. But if I don't cut it out, then I'm going to get everything arranged and go, oh, I do want that last one. But if I cut it out, I probably won't use it. Yeah, that tulip turned out a lot better. Just kind of getting an idea. Yeah, we'll just kind of cover that other side of it. And I don't know that we need this. We'll see. Maybe we'll put it behind here. Let me show you, Anne-Marie, the grass. Just going to take my dies off so I don't end up throwing away a piece of paper with a die on it.
Robin said you could use that for autumn football season.
For the grass? Yeah. It does kind of look like a football field, doesn't it? Okay. Let's get a good look at the grass. And knowing me, I probably inked more on the bottom. So yeah, that is how our grass turned out. Looks like something's growing there, huh? Okay, so I think this part is going to be the trickiest part of our card today. And that is just, we're going to glue on our SVG. The hardest part might actually just be figuring out where I sat it down.
The texture is really neat.
You bet, isn't it? I think it's cool too. Okay, so I want to do one thing just to make sure, because I do feel like I have just a little bit of space there. Now on your SVG, you can go down a little bit on the size if you need to, but I think if I can line up these lines okay, I think I'm just going to go around the edges just to be sure with a little bit of black. Okay, so let's just...
Ivy said beautiful card.
Oh, thank you, Ivy. You guys, look what it did. I got a smudge on my sun. I might have to rearrange things. It's only because I'm live, I'm telling you.
Ivy said add birds.
Oh, you know what, Ivy? That is a great idea. There are birds in this set. Thank you. Ivy saved my life. Okay, I don't have patience for that right now, so I'm going to just do this. No. We're going to do it this way. Sorry, guys. And then I am going to just kind of go along the edge. And it's just going to have to... I don't know if what I'm doing now was really worth it, to be honest with you. You're seeing live what happens when an experiment is not my favorite, because they don't all turn out, do they? I think it'll be okay. I just think I might have liked it better before. Know what I'm saying? I just didn't want it to be so obvious where the white lines were. But now I'm kind of thinking, I would have liked them better.
Ivy said that makes it pop.
Well, thank you, Ivy. You are like the best. You make me feel good, even when I'm messing up. Thank you.
Donna says it looks good.
Thank you, Donna.
I think we get the die cut on the other, yes.
The SVG?
SVG on there looks better.
All right, so we're going to put that to the side. And now, let's see. Yeah, I feel like I like that, actually. What do you guys think? So now let's just glue that on. I'm just going to take my Barely Art glue. And I'm going to just go along some of these lines.
Ivy said you're not messing up. It looks really good.
Oh, thank you so much, Ivy. Ivy, I need a little voice in my head like you. every day. Like all of you. You guys all make me feel so good. Some days your mojo is just a little off. Have you ever had days like that? I know I certainly have. And you know, every project you make can't be your best project because you only have so many best projects. You want to do your best that you can, but they won't all be your best.
Ivy says you're good at what you do.
Oh, Ivy, thank you.
Yes, mojo comes and goes.
All right, let's try this out. So,
Everybody said I love live crafting because you get to see the amazing creative process.
you know, it is definitely a little scarier, but it's good. It does push us out of our comfort zones when we're doing them live. And sometimes, yes, sometimes you get a strike of inspiration you wouldn't have had any other way. You definitely learn to roll with things, which is definitely a good lesson for me that has not always been my strong suit. That is for sure. Heck, being a mom is another way to learn how to roll with things, isn't it? Okay, so you're gonna need probably more glue than I used, but I'm gonna try to use this first before, because this glue does have a lot of stickum to it. See, this is where I kind of...
I said, yes, ma'am.
Let's try this again. And we may be more successful putting the glue on the die, but I'm gonna try it this way. See how we do.
You mean SVG?
Yeah, it's still a die cut, even though it's an SVG die cut.
Ivy said, wow, I love it.
Thank you. Just getting it on there exactly right is the trick. You do want to be careful when you take it off of your cutting mat too, because that can kind of stretch out your paper a little bit too if you're not careful. All right, well, I'm going to be okay with the little highlights of white because we only have so long to make this project, for one thing. And for another thing, I kind of like it. I kind of like the way it highlights the sun a little bit. But I like it better highlighting along the top than I did along the bottom. I don't mind it on that grass, but I do mind it along the bottom.
Cindy said beautiful.
Thank you, Cindy. All right, let's see if I missed the side altogether. Nope, it's got a closure there. We're okay. So I'm gonna hurry and put my pin in my glue because I'm really bad about remembering that. And honestly, I think for this, it's probably a good idea to put something on top of it while it dries. So I'll put my little mini Misty on there. And then let's kind of look at what we've got here. We've got our grass. We're gonna put our little wheelbarrow kind of in that area. Kind of like the grass sticking up right there. I'm gonna put the yellow tulip hiding behind there, and then we'll put the pink one over it so that that one side is kind of covered. And then I'm kind of liking that. I think 2 things of grass is enough for that, but we might add this other one over behind the wheelbarrow, or let's see how it looks in front of it. Or maybe even some of both. We'll check it out. Okay. Hopefully this is dry enough. I feel like I needed more glue, and I'll probably touch it up honestly after the live to make sure it's all gonna stick down. So let's use some foam to attach these things to our project. Let's see, I'm gonna cut them down a little bit just so that I have a little more room to put dies behind it if I want to. Die cuts, I should say. So let's add this little guy right here. And then let's put this grass right here. And then we'll put, I'm gonna use a glue dot for this guy. I'm gonna put him up a little higher. And then we'll add a foam to the pink one. We'll slide that in, kind of cover that guy up. And now we've got all this dimension just with those 3 flowers. And then let's add this grass, whoops. Let's put that down a little lower. Let's see if that fits right in there. Do we want it all the way to the ground? Yeah, I kind of like it down to the ground. And then we will add our tulip. Oops. I think I want it under my foam a little bit. There we go. Kind of seems like it fits right in there. So we've got our little patch of flowers there. And now we can add our wheelbarrow up here. Well, you know, I actually still need to add a sentiment too, so we'll see what works for that. We may still want the bird. I like the idea of the bird.
It looks beautiful. It's dinner time, so watch the rest on replay.
All right, thanks, Gina. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Tell Lily to feel better.
Yes, tell Lily to feel better. Okay, so this guy I kind of want halfway in behind it and halfway out. Maybe. Nah, let's put it all in front. I like that better. All right, so now we just need a little sentiment, and I think we might just be able to put one right there and call it good. Let me see what we've got in our little conversation clippings. I do have some that are already started to be cut. Let me look and see what I got in here. So we've got happiness blooms from within. That's pretty cute. We've got grow kindness. What was that?
Never mind.
Okay. You know, we also have, I don't know, it seems a little cheery for that, doesn't it? But I don't want to make like a dark and dreary sympathy card. I don't know. We'll do happiness. Happiness blooms from within. I kind of like that. What do you guys think? I think it fits that spot really nicely. So we'll go ahead and use a little bit of our Easy Tear tape.
Pamela says that is so beautiful and your voice is so soothing.
Oh, Pamela, you are so sweet. Thank you.
Anne Marie said, I love how you use multiple components of the stamp set.
This is such a fun stamp set. It's really easy to use. There are tons of ways to use this stamp set. And this stencil is really fun too. You can use so many different mediums and mess around with it a lot. It's great if you love to experiment a little bit. Be a little adventurous. All right, so now we need to put that on a card base, and Brutus Monroe actually carries 6x6 card bases now.
And then Ivy says, like I said with the card.
Oh, thank you guys. I like that sentiment too. I think it works out good. So we're going to add that to our 6x6 card base. And you can see it will fit on there just right for us. And then I think we might add a couple of little sequins and we'll color it good. So you can see my my stamp and stick and stamp. It needed help.
She said hi and she loves that card.
Hi, Tina. Oh, thank you. Okay, so then you want to decide if you want it to open to the side or if you want to open it from the top. And I think I'm going to open mine from the top. And hopefully I have that pretty centered. And I think we'll just add a couple of little sequins and call it good. I think we'll use some of these little pink ones. We'll see what comes out first. We'll mess with them. All right, you guys. Our card is finished. And you saw it, we got it done in an hour, not too bad. The only trick will be drying your grass glaze. You can see it gets darker as it starts to dry. And I do cheat and I do use my heat tool a little bit. But I let it dry a little bit first. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it really makes a difference or not, but try it both ways. Like I said, do a little patch test. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate it. And I have so much fun talking to you guys and seeing how you're doing and catching up with you. So I hope that you will enjoy your weekend. I hope that you will do something crafty. And I will see you again next week with something new. Thanks again. Bye-bye.